What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Warehouse Series. Today we're going to be talking about safety. It's been a while since I did a video just on safety. Today is Labor Day over here in the United States, so what a better time than to talk about warehouse safety over here. So I hope everyone's enjoying their day. Before we get to the video, guys, if you're not a member of Discord, that link is in the description below. Come over there, join that warehouse community. Every Friday is Discord Friday, where I take your pictures you post on Discord and I break them down, and hopefully I can help you out building a better pallet. Guys, if you like my videos, if you can give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate it. That's your way of showing that you appreciate my videos, and I appreciate it. Leave comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. So like I said, we're going to get to safety today. The first picture I'm going to show is off of Discord, so I blocked out the people's faces. Every other picture after that I grabbed off a line, so it's nothing that I'm really concerned about. They were put online, so that's no problem there. So let's get to the first picture. All right, guys, so in this first picture, there's a lot of things going wrong. I could not believe it when the person put this on Discord. This is just insane. So we have product that fell in the rack up above. Now at our warehouse, we have maintenance build us cages. We have these big metal cages. We're locked in all the way. There's a gate on the front of it. So we're totally enclosed in a cage that comes up to almost our chest. We have harnesses that we wear. Everyone, if you go in the air, you should be wearing a safety harness and you should be hooked onto something. This is just crazy. So he's selecting on the pallet up here. He's grabbing the loose cases that fell in the rack and he's putting them on the pallet. So look at the room he has to stand on. He literally has no room to stand on. Plus, these pallets are not foolproof. These pallets could snap at any given time. I've seen it happen before. Not all these blue woods are as sturdy. I mean, they've been beat up, they're broken. So, or even maybe he's not balanced on the forks. And maybe he's putting himself in a position where this pallet could rock on the forks. Maybe his forks are shifted over to the other side of the pallet and it could rock. The chances of him falling are very great. So I'm glad this person didn't get hurt. And the next time this person decides to go up in the rack, I sure the heck hope he puts a harness on. Now let's talk about the high lift driver that's down below here. Just absolutely insane that you are doing this while there's loose cases up. So his pallet is 2 bays up, but the loose cases are 3 bays up. You want to get clunked in the back of the head with a loose case? This dude is just absolutely paying no mind to all the stuff that's going on up above him. You should be standing back. There should be no one within the area. He should be having a harness on. Crazy that this is still happening today. You know, this is just dumb. All right, so let's get on to the next picture. All right, guys, so this is online, and it's funny because I put in safety, and as far as I'm concerned, this isn't safe. In our warehouse, we have a 2-bay minimum. So if there's a forklift going up and making a move, it should be 2 bays. All right, 2 bays is 4 slots. And this lady is probably within a half a bay of this forklift operator. So the fact that they have this on the safety page that I pulled it off of just cracks me up. She is standing way too close to these cases. If this was to tip over, it would she would be definitely in line of being hit with these cases if that pallet was to tip over. Remember, guys, you cannot trust the wood, you cannot trust the stack, especially when it's not wrapped. I would not be standing this close. 2 bays, 4 slots, stand back, plenty of room, so if the product falls, you're not in anywhere to be harmed from there. So when you're selecting in the warehouse, you should be way back whenever that forklift is making a move. And if you are a high lift operator and I'm selecting in the aisle, you should be not cutting in front of me and raising your forks up. You should either wait for me to go back or go by you or back up so I am 2 bays away for you. So that's selector and forklift operator, definitely something we need to work on in the warehouse. All right, so this is another picture I got off online, and anyone looks at this, they're like, well, what's the problem? I'll tell you what the problem is. I don't know whether she is or not because I can't see within the compartment here, but anytime your focus is like this, taken off of your controllers, you should always be stepped off that dead man. All right, the dead man is the pedal that you step on the bottom of the forklift. If you're a new high lift operator, that's what it is. It's your emergency brake. If you're not stepping on that pedal, there is nothing that could go on. So on our high lifts, we got actually controls back here and we got controls right here where her hand is. So let's say she's on one of our high lifts where the control is right here, and she's got her foot on that dead man. She's focusing up on here, scanning a product, and she accidentally hits that throttle, and she's going to ride right into the rack with her leg hanging out. So this is something that you definitely need to pay attention to, is whenever you're not focused on your high lift and you're focused on something else, your foot should be off of that dead man. So that's just a high lift tip that I wanted to throw on today. All right, guys, once again, offline, this is something that happens all the time in the warehouse. Blind spots. I cannot tell you how many times there is almost a collision, or there is a collision because of blind spots. Whether you're coming off the dock and you just drop something off on the dock and there's high pallets and you're coming out from underneath or behind those high pallets, or there's a pedestrian walking and they're paying no mind to the traffic coming on. It's ridiculous. So in this situation right here, anytime there is a blind spot, he should be beeping his horn. Anytime you enter a blind spot, and you should be not on that intersection, you should be back from that intersection, letting people know that you're coming, and you should be proceeding slowly, if not stopping before you proceed through that intersection. This person here should not be looking at anything while they're walking on the floor, all right? Because I'm telling you, it's a cartoon, whatever, but this happens all the time. Be very wary of your blind spots. All right, guys, something simplistic, but you will not believe when these are up on the floor, that means there's a spill around, or there's maybe a broken glass case or something, and someone put up a pop-up cone or one of these to say, so it doesn't always necessarily is going to have cleaning a process. It's going to have safety or whatever. People just blow through these things, don't hit them, why? All right, someone puts one of these up. There's obviously something around there that is dangerous to you driving your jack through. Don't hit them. Don't run them over. Proceed with caution. Slow down and don't fly through this area. And I'll tell you why. The next picture right here is this. Anytime you see some type of gloss on the ground like this, where the light's reflecting off of it and you got some type of gloss, it's a spill. It could be hydraulic fluid. It could be anything in the warehouse, water. And I'll tell you what, when you hit this with your equipment, you are going to go flying. You're going to go for a ride. I had this happen to me a couple times throughout my career. One time on a sweeper, I actually did a freaking full 360 on the sweeper. My heart was beating. I slid on a high lift and multiple times with the jack, just not paying mind to stuff like this. It could be the smallest spot and you're going to go sliding. Also, if you work in a dry food warehouse, be careful when you see dog food and cat food ran over on the floor. Those are also stuff that you're going to slide on. So be very cautious when you're driving around a wet floor or any kind of debris that's on the floor. Slow down and go really slow through this stuff. Also, if there is no cones and this happened, make sure you call the appropriate people, put a cone up so other people know to proceed with caution. All right, guys. So this happens a little bit more than you actually think it does. Bands hanging off of pallets, they get tucked under the pallets and you trip over them. I have tripped quite a few times over where our bananas are at, because the bananas come with all these bands, and if the cleanup people don't pick them up, they get tangled on the pallet and they actually get just like this. They form a loop, and if your boot gets stuck in there, you're done. Now, I've tripped on quite a few of these, but the worst one I ever had, I was carrying a box of bananas. My foot caught exactly like this. I hit the ground so hard. It was like someone just took a board and just slapped me in the back. I literally just bam, I hit that and I went straight down. So definitely be wary of your debris on the ground. All right, guys, something else that happens all the time. Now, I hope I'm allowed to use this person's picture. They put their watermarks on it. If not, whatever. I'm going to get whatever. I should be able to use it. Anyhow, this happens all the time, especially with white wood. White wood is very easy to step on and go through. I've had this happen quite a few times. Sometimes you're just not paying attention when you're selecting. So the best place, and I'm sure your trainers have told you this when you're training, is to step in the middle part of the pallet. So you're stepping on this board right here. And we're not on an open spot where our foot can do this. If you're stepping on the middle part of the pallet, it's the strongest point in the pallet. So remember that when you're stepping on a pallet to select the case in the back, step in the middle and you should be fine. All right, guys, so this next picture is actually the next two pictures. I want to talk about resistance. When you're putting something up in the rack or you're pulling something out, if there is resistance, stop what you're doing, step off of your high lift, and evaluate what's going on up there, all right? Because you can't always see everything from being inside the forklift. So step off, look up, and see what's going on. See if you're hitting the top of the rack, see if you're hitting the side of the rack. Take your time and do not just yank this thing out. Any type of resistance means that you're either hitting the cases on something or your pallet's stuck on something. This is what happens. I'm just guessing, but this is what happens when you just keep yanking, and then you get your high lift to shake and the whole entire product falls over. So to me, just by looking at this, I would guess that's what happened. But you definitely, any type of resistance, stop and evaluate what's going on up in the rack. This is also due to resistance, in my opinion. If I had to guess what happened here, this person put the pallet in and they probably had their tilt up and they started coming out with it, and they probably felt resistance, and instead of stopping to evaluate what's going on, which was probably their tilt, they kept pulling out. And when they kept pulling out, they dragged the pallet back off the back part of the rack, and they pulled their forks out, which allowed this pallet to fall in the rack. Guys, I've seen it a million times. If I had to guess, I'm probably 99%. This is what happened in this picture right here. Anytime you feel resistance, stop and evaluate what is going on up in that rack. All right, guys, the last picture I want to show you is right here, and this is putting pallets in the reserve. All right, so the resistance that I just talked about, putting pallets into the reserve, is I just called a lift last week because someone put two pallets up in the reserve, one bay or one level high, and the other one was three level high, and both products were the same. So I'm guessing it was the same high lift operator. They put the product in, hit the side of the rack, and had a case literally hanging off majorly where it could fall. So I had a high lift come over, pull them down so I could push them back on. I always say in the warehouse, think of the worst. My conscience could not let me go buy those pallets and just leave them like that. Because later on in the day, if I heard a case fell down and smacked someone in the head, and it was the case that I saw earlier and did not report it or did not try to get it fixed, I couldn't have that on my conscience. I always think of the worst. When I'm on a forklift, anytime I see a pallet like this, I will go and fix it myself or call someone to fix it. Now, this here was probably leaning when it was off the dock. So either A, these cases that are being crushed at the bottom of the pallet, this pallet needed to be restacked by a clamp machine probably. All what you had to do is cut this bottom layer and clamp it and put this the bottom layer on the top layer, and you probably have a pallet that's not leaning anymore. Now, is this pallet going to fall? Probably not. Could it fall? Absolutely. When you have a leaning pallet like this, it's probably 50 times more it's going to fall than these other pallets that are in here, obviously, because it's leaning. You don't know how long this product's going to stay up here. We don't know how damaged these bottom things are. People think because it's wrapped real tight, it's going to be fine. Better safe than sorry. So that's the last picture I wanted to show for today. All right, guys, once again, I haven't done safety in a while. Today's Labor Day. I thought it would be a great day for that. After someone posted that first picture of that person up on the high lift was just crazy, and it definitely warranted a safety video. So I hope you guys enjoy these safety tips. I hope everyone's being safe in the warehouse, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.